All right, this is Rudy again. We're going to continue with the Federal Reserve. You know, Ron Paul, I'd like to explain, Ron Paul is not an isolationist. The biggest argument you'll hear about isolationists, and people may think that I fall into that category because I believe in only doing what's good for America and I don't consider the rest of the world. So they're going to throw a label on me called isolationist. Ron Paul rejects that term, and I do too. The term that should be used is non-interventionist, which means I don't want to get into the political affairs of other nations. Ron Paul talks about honestly trading with other nations and having honest friendship with other nations. But if you look at the role of our government today, they do a lot more than that. We have troops stationed all over the world, and we have, you could argue that we try to impact the political agenda of these other nations, and it does nothing but build up hatred towards America. There's a golden rule that says treat others as you would like to be treated. That doesn't just apply to individuals, right? We can be a world superpower, and we can be a shining example on the hill, and we can be the example for the rest of the world, for a republic, for people that are free, for people that work hard, for people that cherish their freedom. But we don't have to go over there and put our troops over there, and we don't have to get so involved and bribe them with our paper money and bribe them. It's called non-interventionism. Ron Paul wrote an entire book on it. I would ask you to look it up and read it. And the United Nations is a mechanism to control America as well. If you don't understand that, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know how Americans can accept the fact that the headquarters for the United Nations is in our own soil, and that we actively participate when all the stuff that goes on there. Am I a big supporter of Bush? No, I'm not a big supporter of Bush. I used to be. I'll admit that, and I went very easy on him in the beginning. But when he started supporting these bailout bills and I realized what was going on, I withdrew my support for Bush. But when you see some of the things that go on in the United Nations and what other countries are trying to do, and how America is becoming more and more part of a one world government, it's very scary. It's very scary that we're giving up our sovereignness. I don't have the best speech, but I'll get there eventually. Turning our elections into electronic voting machines. Our elections are at risk. Our elections are at risk when they turn everything over to electronic voting machines. If we can't trust and have some sort of paper trail or some sort of transparency to ensure that our elections are honest, I don't know what to say. Mainstream media is owned by big business. I don't even know I know GE owns one of them. It may be MSNBC, Fox News, CNN. I don't know which one they own, but they own one of them. I don't know the details of that, but I do know that almost all these media outlets are owned by big business. Do you think they're going to talk about the truth about any of this since they have their own business interest at heart? Do you think they are? Do you think when you watch any of that CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, do you think any of them are interested in what's best for you? I don't. Let me read a quote by another quote by Thomas Jefferson, 3rd President of the United States. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. Pretty much says it, doesn't it? I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. I'm not making this stuff up. This isn't just me on a conspiracy theory situation. This is our forefathers. Here's John Edgar Hoover. Now I know they tried to discredit him and they tried to lie about some of the things that he did, but he said this, and you can take it for what it's worth. I don't think he was making it up. This is John Edgar Hoover. We must now face the harsh truth that the objectives of communism are being steadily advanced because many of us do not recognize the means used to advance them. The individual is handicapped by coming face to face with a conspiracy so monstrous he cannot believe it exists. The American mind simply cannot come to a realization of the evil which has been introduced into our midst. These are people that have held high positions in our government. I'm just a regular guy living in Texas trying to make a living. These people don't say this crap. They don't say, I shouldn't call it crap, they don't say this stuff to hear themselves talk. They're not, you think they're making a joke? You think they're just saying it so somebody like me will quote it later? I mean, all of them?